Welcome into TFW Live, the best kept secret in fantasy football, where we keep that week one feeling going all year long. This is episode 334, where I will be watching the Washington Commanders face off against the Chicago Bears in this fantasy football watch party with you, Whisper Nation. Let me know if my audio is having any issues coming through. I can't hear it, so you're going to have to be my ears out, though, there. As you know, I am Austin Sear. What up to you, Ronald Kalla? What's up with the time change? That's right. Good observation. It's going to be me soloing the first half of today's game, and we're going to be jumping straight into our bet slip. But before we do that, got to give some shout outs to our members over on YouTube who support the show through their monthly subscriptions. Gus Ramos, Pizza Belly, Don Caples, Bailey Ziegler, Kevin Dobby, Nick, Brett Zabo, John Credit, Eric Lorenzen, Donnie Tubbs, Jersey J, and Hanimal. If you would like to grow our growing list of YouTube members, please click join next to the video. Shout out to those who followed us on social media this week: Jorge Calvo, Gregory Thomas, Alex Dominguez, Don L, Omar Guerrero, and David Lee. If you would love to join a fantasy football community where you know that you belong exactly as you are, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Hopefully get one more today. That would be an awesome day for me. And if you're new on the show, let us know and let me know where you're tuning in from. Give you a shout out here on the show. I'm in West Hollywood, California myself. All right. So before I start making some bets, let's get this page up on the screen. Got to go to my screen, share screen. Hang with me here while I get the underdog fantasy up for us. All right. Here we go. I'll bring this one up to the top. Let's add it to the stream. Here we go. I'm going to make myself the bigger face on this. I like that better. All right. Let's go to the pick'ems. That's where we get our good action for today's show. We got the Commanders and the Bears on this one. This will be fun. Scott, about time you showed up. Just for you, baby. Just here for you. I love it. And I'm glad that you are here too. Who do you like in this game, Scott? Are we going with the Bears or are we going with the Durs? Let's see. We got 11.5 rushing yards for Carson Wentz, 33 passing attempts, 238.5 total yards. Kind of interesting. I think this game's going to be kind of dirty. What do you think? I don't like Thursday games in terms of like how sharp they end up looking normally. And I don't like these two teams playing like football wise. Ronald likes the Bears. I don't dislike that. They got more wins than I'd expect them to have. I think they're arguably a more complete team, just suffering from Justin Fields' quarterback play. Ooh. Right. So we got just a couple minutes here to get this started. So I got to fire this one out. If you got any prop bets that you especially like, let me know so I can factor those in. Brian Robinson. Oh man, they think he's going to be active. I'm not sold on Brian Robinson being super active coming back this quick. So I'm leaning towards under on his rushing and receiving yards. I think Ron Rivera might try to force him some work. So I don't love the 13 rushing attempts, even though that seems crazy high to me. I'm okay though here hitting the lower on the efficiency, and I'll pay the price if it is. That's how it goes. JD McKissick, 3 receptions. I kind of like the over on that. I think he's going to be their pass catching guy. Gibson, 18.5 rushing yards. I'm almost tempted to go over that. Let's see. Terry McLaurin. I kind of like the over on his yards. I think he's primed for that with all the absences set up for today's game. I'm going to move on after this. Let's see what we got over here now after outside of these. Let's go to the Chicago Bears side. What's Ronald saying here? There is a chance you see a Gibson a little more active in this one and less next week. That's what I'm kind of thinking too, man. I'm on that. That's why I went with the Brian Robinson under on those yards. Let's see. Justin Fields, 8.0 rushing attempts, 217 total yards. I don't know if he gets that. I'm kind of leaning lower on this on first look. Dave Montgomery, 64.5 rushing yards. Not bad. 2.5 receptions. I'm going to hit the lower on Khalil just because they seem to love David Montgomery, I think even more than they should. I'm going to get in this bet right now just so we have one. Going on the submit. Let's do this. So there we got our first bet here, Whisper Nation. We're going under on the yards for Khalil Herbert and Brian Robinson, higher on the receptions for J.D. McKissick, higher than 57 receiving yards, and lower for Terry McLaurin, and then lower on Justin Fields' totals. Let's take a look at what else we got here. What's some of the names we didn't look at? 29.5 receiving yards. Oh, I'm not feeling that. Economia St. Brown, 20.5 receiving yards. He could get that done in one play, though, so I'll fade over there. Darnell Mooney, he's the one go-to, but it's such a slow and bad offense right now. So I'm tempted, but I'm going to pass. I'm going to go to the rivals. That's where I want to take a look at now. Rushing yards between these two. I'm going to just go with Wentz because he gets the 35.5 bump. Rushing yards. I like Samuel on this one. I like Samuel even more with 8.5 rushing yards over Wentz. And I got to get cooking here. Give me this one. I like that better. Receptions. I'm going to go Mckissick. I know I'm going to have to get one on this side. That's kind of a lot. Fine. We'll just go something weird. I don't think that actually ends up happening, but we'll go that way. And I can't do that. All right. I think that's 5. I guess that was 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got under on Cole Kmet. Rushing yards, we're going with Curtis Samuels, 43.5. Receptions, I like the +1 J.D. McKissick gets. I see these two as pretty close. And McKissick might even get more, though, straight up. And then the rushing yards, I like the Fields 48.5 bump, or the passing yards. I like the 48.5 bump over Carson Wentz. I don't totally love that, actually. I think that Wentz will still probably outdo him, but that was just too tasty for me to pass up here on the almost 50 yards. Now, we're not going to get any more time to get in another one, but I'm just going to kick myself to see how bad this could have been. 52.5 rushing yards over Montgomery. That's a little bit tempting. Receiving yards here as well. Not that I'm blown away with. And they're all locked now anyway. So we are locked in now with you on these bet slips. Take a look at them here one more time before the game started. All right, so we've got 2 bets going tonight, Whisper Nation. We got a 5-leg parlay featuring Brian Robinson under 61.5 rushing and receiving yards. I'm with Ronald on this one. I don't think Brian Robinson takes the load this week, and I think he would need to have the load to get this type of production. Next week, though, we'll see. I'm going to be paying attention to this game. J.D. McKissick over 3.0 receptions. He is one of the most feasting running backs, catching passes in the NFL. I like the over on this. Justin Fields lower than 217 total yards. I feel all right there. It's Thursday. Justin Fields is a massive question mark. Roll the dice on that under. Khalil Herbert, same thing. I think Khalil Herbert should blow this out, but they're just not going to give him the opportunity with Montgomery a further week recovered. And then Terry McLaurin, given Logan Thomas is out, given that Dotson is out, I like the uptick Terry McLaurin should receive. And then here we've got Cole Kmet under 29.5 receiving yards. This is an emotional decision I'm making because he freaking blanked me the first 2 weeks of the fantasy season when I picked him up in rounds 14 in the listener league and in my league of record. Receptions, I like McKissick. He's got the one handicap already, and I just like him even straight up. Rushing yards, 43.5 for Curtis Samuel over Brian Robinson. Linking back to our last slip, I don't love what Brian Robinson should probably do his first real game coming in. We'll see, though. And passing yards. Oh, looks like we already got some action going for Justin Fields, so that's cool. Let's get watching this game here. Now, I'm going to be pulling this up. Let's see what we got in the action here. Bears D is a good streaming option, says Scott. I think you're right, man. I like that one. Good one to consider. Brought this one up. I agree with you, Ronald. Good chance to see Gibson a little more active in this one and less next week. That would make sense. But then again, what Ron Rivera seems to be doing these days doesn't make a lot of sense to me personally. Herbert can run as well. Yep. Mooney going for 250. I hope you don't have money on Mooney over 250. Being serious, the Robinson one is going to bite you in the behind. It might. It totally might. But I like to play on parlays or on these bets where it's like, this is like a 50-50 shot for me if he is active. But I think there's also a real chance he's not active at all. So even if Brian Robinson is in, I think that 60-something total yards is a fair number if he's fully active, and I'm not convinced he is fully active. So I like those odds on this. Where do we watch the game at? Whisper Nation, is it on NFL Network? Is it on Amazon? Where do we watch this game? Amazon. Our digital overlords. Here we go.
Defense, number 93.
Got a flag cooking at the beginning.
The result of the play, automatic first down. That's the Pro Bowler, Jonathan Allen, first down.
Thank you. Got it up now. They have 100% of Thursday night. All right. Ooh, I kind of like these Washington jerseys. I want to like the Bears ones, but they're so orange. It's like a Bob the Builder show to me. Or a Home Depot alternate uniform. Oh, down goes Justin Fields. Down goes our parlay bet. Hopefully not. What do you think about these jerseys? I kind of like this orange. I think it's too much orange with the shoes and the socks. I think they're overdoing it. But I actually like these orange jerseys. I didn't at first, but now they're kind of growing on me. It's fresh. Why is Fields still starting? What else should they do, Scott? It's a good question. Who is the Bears? I don't even know. Andy Dalton's with the Saints now. Trevor Siemian. Oh my God. They're really not trying to set themselves up for a lot of success, are they, Chicago? Maybe they should, Scott. I'm not going to rule that consideration out. Fuck, look at this. Justin Fields down again. Damn. It seems like Justin Fields, when the pocket collapses, when the defense collapses, he starts collapsing. He doesn't seem to be able to find that stream that cuts through the blockage, whether it's to run or to throw, and he's not processing it quick enough before it all closes in on him, like that scene in Star Wars in the trash compactor. Ben DiNucci's available. I don't think they're trying to win. I wonder if they're bummed out about that early season success the Bears started off. Yeah, he is running the wrong direction, Ron. Not good. He isn't backpedaling. He's turning. Exactly. He's not looking. He's collapsing. He doesn't stay connected to the play. And if you're going to disconnect from the play and then try to reconnect with your reads, the coverage, the defense, your pocket, like, you're toast. There's no way you can make all of that mental problem solving happen if you disconnect. It's not going to happen. Oof. Who you guys got in this game? So if you're starting, if you've got David Montgomery, you're probably starting him. I'm sitting him in our Dynasty League. But I think Montgomery's a fair start. He's been pretty good, even how bad the Bears have been. What's up, Albert? it's weird for the Washington Durs. Like I drafted Terry McLaurin his rookie year in our dynasty league, and I like what Terry McLaurin has flashed to be able to do, but it's tough to have consistent production from Terry McLaurin. It just hasn't happened that regularly. So if you were like kind of fading out on Terry McLaurin, I get it. Logically, it doesn't sound smart, but emotionally, it sounds sound to me. So let me know if you got anyone you're actually playing in this matchup. Terry McLaurin, I wouldn't be recommending Diami Brown. That backfield in Washington is super confusing to me. Brian Robinson, Scott's telling me to listen to Vegas of the assumed production he's about to get. I need to see it first. And Antonio Gibson started off the year good week 1 and 2, but has had less and less involvement. And all the writing on the wall says that Gibson is not going to be active for the Washington Durs, which means he should not be active for you either. So I'm okay with this, though, Scott. 12 targets last 2 games, six targets per game, because he's always been a down-the-field option. You know, you look at a lot of these guys that are down-the-field options, you're going to get, 4 catches for 70 yards, 80 yards. If you get a few more of that, then he busts over that century mark, starts pulling in 100, 120 yards, starts knocking on the wide receiver 1 door. Wide receiver 2, 3. So he does. Brian Robinson start the game off, him behind quarterback for a couple yards. I want to have an honest interview with Antonio Gibson and just be like, what has it been like producing strong numbers in your rookie and sophomore seasons just to be like totally blanked by your coach coming into the 4th year? I agree. He should be getting 10 targets a game. He definitely should. What up, CCP? Cast Pajamas. Ronald's saying that Brian Robinson looks like a wide receiver. Oh, are you talking about Ryan Robinson or are you talking about Antonio Gibson? Because Gibson was a wide receiver. And I'm thinking that Brian Robinson here looks kind of meaty. Looks like he could do some trucking for you. Third and 7. Washington going for a 3 and out. Yep. There is a sack lunch served up to Carson Wentz, extending the distance to the first down mark. They are going to be punting now. Yeah, Robinson. I'm excited to watch him play, though. Did you guys see that video of Brian Robinson coming out of the tunnel with these sense many men? Many men wish death upon me. It was cool. It was a neat video to see a guy who just suffered multiple gunshot wounds, fully recovered or recovered enough, coming out of the tunnel with the smoke and the cheers and the music. It was one of the more badass exits I've seen. Punt is made. Is that Darnell Mooney running the rock for punts? Either way, he's down for like 6 yards returned on the punt. Fuck, that pocket collapsed fast for Wentz. Goodbye. All right. I'm going to take a look now at our bet slip. We've had a little action on what up, Lady B, before I jump on my rant. This game looks like it's going to be interesting. A barrel of laughs. Yeah, this game is starting out the way we expected it to start out, which is too bad. I would love a surprise for this game. Sometimes you get some good surprises. Would love some competition in this game. Let's take a look at our competition going on in our bet slip, though, shall we? Wait, where'd it go? No, it's up top. All right, let's see how we're doing. We can stop sharing that. Pick'ems. Here we go. All righty. So let's see how we did. We've each gotten both of our teams to get a series in the bag. Brian Robinson got under 61.5 rushing and receiving yards. Got a couple of carries, 3 total yards. All right. Kind of on pace, but let's just chill out. Let's get the rest of those backs involved. J.D. McKissick higher on the 3.0 receptions. Would have loved to see him get a catch on that first series. Not freaking out just yet. Justin Fields need under 217.5 total yards. He's got 15. A little more than you would have expected on the first series. They got a first down, but not more than that. And Khalil Herbert has not yet seen the field. Moving over to our next bet slip. Under 29.5 receiving yards. Yep, we're doing good there. Same with the McKissick receptions over Terry McLaurin. Brian Robinson's got 3 rushing yards. Not enough yet to break Curtis Samuel's 43.5 point bump. Passing yards, Carson Wentz hasn't completed one yet. So we're feeling okay on that front so far. What up, Caden? The Colts fan himself. Would you trade Keenan Allen for Kenneth Walker? Absolutely. In any format you're playing. I don't care. Do that right now if you can get away with that. Keenan Allen has been so good for so long, and I don't think he's going to be bad when he comes back in. God damn it, Cole Kmet. That's not helping my under on you. But I do not think we're going to see Keenan Allen outscore Kenneth Walker rest of season just straight up. Now, I got to air out the concerns. There is a world where DJ Dallas has more snap percentage for the Seattle backfield than we're expecting right now. We're expecting Kenneth Walker to come in there and be the second-round running back they drafted, to be the running back who's had 2 highlight plays already and not a lot of opportunity. We are expecting Kenneth Walker to come in and do work for what has been a good running back team in Seattle traditionally, with Pete Carroll as the head coach. Travis Homer could come back, though. Travis Homer could come back and make this a 3-down committee. Kenneth Walker could come in and show some rookie spooks. You know, he could come in there and not be as good as we're expecting. I don't think that's likely because he's doing good, but it's a possibility. And then Keenan Allen could come in and do what he's done for the last 5 years and just ball, right? But we'll see. But with that said, I like Kenneth Walker a whole lot more than Keenan Allen right now. He said I put a bounty out for Kenneth Walker early in the week, but nobody took me up on it. Like you put a price on his head, or you were trying to pick him up, or you're trading him away. I like Burks a lot, or Kenneth Walker a lot on this one. So I wouldn't be getting rid of him. I'd be trying to get him. What up, Christy? I'm 4-1, 0.5 PPR, 12-man league. Make any moves or keep the depth. Let's see. Quarterback, you got Jalen Hurts. Nice. Running backs, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon, Ramondre, James Robinson, Madison. That's nice. Wide receivers, A.J. Brown, Cortland Sutton, Michael Thomas, George Pickens, Tyler Boyd, Johan Dotson, James Williams. We'll see. Tight end Andrews. Well, it doesn't surprise me at all that but you're good here. The pieces that I would consider trading, let's see. Hey, nice play there by Justin Fields. Nice, man. Good play. Justin Fields looking all right to start this game. All right, so what else you got to say? I have a set package to anyone that got him off waivers. Nobody took me up on it. Oh, here we go. Let me answer Chris's question here. We got a few more coming in. I love JT, Saquon, Ramondre. I think that is rock solid running back core 1, 2, 3. James Robinson is a really nice fourth piece for you right now. With Damian Harris dealing with the quad injury, you expect Ramondre to get that 80% snap share. He had like 95%, I think, last week. You just totally took it over. And if he keeps getting that, Ramondre is going to be an RB1, but Belichick hasn't had an exclusive running back. Not even LeGarrette Blount or Stephon Ridley, going back in the days to the other RB1s they've produced. They were still involved in timeshare. So but I like him a lot right now. I would see if you can work something to try to get a little bit more. I would consider trading James Robinson, but you don't need to. Probably sit on Madison if Dalvin Cook's injury gets worse, or try to trade Madison to the person rostering Dalvin Cook himself. So you might be able to get an increase in value out of Madison because whoever's got Dalvin Cook is a little nervous right now, and they probably should be. It is an injury. That shoulder injury does have a high chance of re-injury. Let's go check out your wide receivers. A.J. Brown, he's looking really good, but he's not on the field as much as Devonta Smith is. 74% snap share to like 95% snap share last week. And A.J. Brown started off crazy hot, but is not looking like the exclusive wide receiver option. Like A.J. Brown a lot, but there is some room that if you could level that up with a top-ranked wide receiver, a Justin Jefferson, a Cooper Kupp, of course, something like that would be really cool. Michael Thomas, if you can, I would, if you can get a wide receiver 2 value on Michael Thomas, I'd get rid of him. I'd just be done with the headache. How many games has he played in the last 3 years? How many games has he played this season? How many snaps has he been pretty impressive on? If you can find someone who's still remembering all of his wide receiver 1 finishes, wrap that up and trade away hype for some substance for yourself. Pickens I like too, but if you can get some purchase on the hype, I consider doing that too. Your tight end situation's phenomenal. So you got some good pieces here to consider. Got no problem if you want to level up James Robinson. Got no problem if someone's going to bite on Jameson Williams. Again, trading hype for substance, always for me. Like if you're rostering DeAndre Hopkins, for instance, and he's about to come back and someone's going to pay wide receiver 1 value for him, do that. Because if DeAndre Hopkins comes in game 1, has 6 targets thrown his way, catches 4 of them for 50 yards, like he's not going to have as much value as the excitement was bringing him before he was active. So keep that in mind. Great question here, Chris. All right. What up, Ethan Johnson? Thanks for joining in. I'm in an 8-point PPR, 8-man PPR. Should I trade Hollywood Brown for CeeDee Lamb? With Hopkins coming back, I kind of want to trade for Hollywood. If you can get CeeDee Lamb for Hollywood Brown, I would do it. I would rather have CeeDee Lamb than Hollywood Brown moving forward. Hopkins coming back is going to he's going to eat some targets. He's good. It's going to happen. I don't know the total impact that you're going to see out of Hollywood Brown. He's been really, really good the last several weeks. Target volume has been through the roof. He has that elite breakaway ability. You love to see that for fantasy purposes. But CeeDee Lamb is a more well-rounded player who has less competition on his team. Cooper Rush is doing a fine job. Dak Prescott's supposed to be coming back soon. I think CeeDee Lamb is special in more categories than Hollywood Brown is. If you can get CeeDee for Hollywood, I'd encourage that. Do it. Yeah, Lady V, the Bears' run game has been good, just like all season long. David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, they're good. Justin Herbert likes to run the rock. Their run game is good. They just have real struggles passing the ball. Chelsea bringing in some pokey. Yeah. Anytime, Ethan Johnson. Appreciate you coming to the show. And if you got anything out of it, would be humbled if you went ahead and hit us with a thumbs up. Helps us connect with more people who love fantasy football, and that's what we love to do. Appreciate the question. Appreciate you joining. Let's see if the Chicago Bears can make the most of this 5-yard position. 2nd and goal. The ball is thrown. The ball is tipped. The ball is intercepted. Where's everybody else today? Abandon you. Man, no, I got this one. Holding this one down today. And I got you here. Thanks for not abandoning me, Lady V. Jeb Armstrong. What's up, man? Welcome to the show. I'm being offered Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, and Gabe Davis, okay, for Jonathan Taylor. My other starting running backs are Saquon Barkley and Breece Hall. Nice. And my starting wide receivers are Cortland Sutton and Chris Godwin. Should I accept? You're being offered Aaron Jones and Dillon and Gabe Davis for Jonathan Taylor. It's a lot. He's really trying to get Jonathan Taylor. And this could be one of those situations that works out for the both of you. I would love to see the rest of your roster. Are you going to be starting Gabe Davis regularly? I would be starting Gabe Davis, probably considering it ahead of Chris Godwin. I'm still not sold on Gabe Davis. Like, everybody who is supportive of Gabe Davis has been right. And I would say people who have been critical of Gabe Davis have also been right. Like, has this dude caught more than 4 passes all season? No, he has not caught more than 4 passes all season. Week 1, 4, week 3, 3, week 4, 1, week 5, where he had 32.35 fantasy points, still only had 3 catches, 171 yards and 2 touchdowns on 6 targets, 3 catches. So anything you want to say about Gabe Davis is probably right. And if I'm the guy trading away Jonathan Taylor, that's you. If I'm acquiring Jonathan Taylor and giving up these pieces, I'm sitting pretty, and I'm really trying to give myself a strong position. So let's see. Okay, you follow up. I basically have no wide receiver or running back depth. My bench is Mclaurin, Gallup, Thielen, and then some no names. What's your record, Jeb? Jonathan Taylor returned to practice, limited fashion. You can do this and not feel bad about it, but I don't really want to. You're 3-2. You're giving up the best player in the trade by quite a bit. And the guy giving up Jonathan Taylor is going to be like, or the guy acquiring Jonathan Taylor is be like, he's injured, he's hurt, you never know. But Jonathan Taylor's got a chance to be the number 1 overall running back again. I mean, week 1 had him with 31 carries, 161 yards. Aaron Jones is never going to get 25 carries this season. He's not. And Jonathan Taylor is also involved in the pass catching game. You're above 500. Jonathan Taylor's value is not going anywhere. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon have taken a little bit of a drop down. I think they're going to get him more involved. I would probably be sitting a little bit longer on Jonathan Taylor. I understand if you want to make the play, if you want to make the trade, I don't hate it, but I think I'd want to keep Jonathan Taylor right now in this situation because, again, Gabe Davis isn't a lock for me. I think it's really, really smart for people to trade away Gabe Davis right now after this crazy performance. Well, Gabe Davis isn't going to have crazy performances exclusively. I'd wait till he chills out. Speaking of chill out, Brian Robinson there for 2 yards as the Washington Commanders are trying to move outside of this pinch behind near close to the right end zone. Anytime, Jeb. Thanks for coming through. Here's with a thumbs up, if you'd be so kind. This Chicago defense hasn't been kind to Carson Wentz. Let's see if they let up at all. Play action. Ball's thrown. Ball is caught. Turner, tight end, makes the play. First down for the Commanders. Good catch. New set of downs. Who was that tricky play? What was that? They're getting Robinson involved a lot. Ron Rivera looks like someone trying to prove a point right now. I don't know if he's making the point made, though. That's not on you, Brian. 2nd and 5 after the end around. Who did they spell in? Is it Mckissick or is it Gibson? It's Mckissick. Ron Rivera said, fuck you, Antonio. No. Oh, no. All right, Ethan, what's up, man? This is another situation I'm in, all right? I still got Kyle Pitts and Najee Harris from the draft. Feel you. What do I do? Not sure if you already covered this one. Najee Harris, man, it makes me really nervous. Najee Harris was a volume-based play. His efficiency wasn't awesome. His volume is starting to dilute. Warren is getting more involved. Warren looks good. Warren's numbers are good. Najee Harris is their guy until he's not. Looking at the tea leaves, I don't think Najee Harris is 100% healthy. I don't think he gets 100% healthy. I think he's somewhat being outplayed by an undrafted running back. And I think Najee Harris benefited a lot last year from just a stupid amount of volume coming his way. I'm not calling him Trent Richardson rookie season in Cleveland, but that is who comes to mind. I think Trent Richardson had like 14 touchdowns. We all blamed his lack of efficiency on the team and whatever. We made all kinds of excuses. It never really came through, even when he was with Indianapolis. I'm thinking that with Najee. Kyle Pitts, I think Arthur Smith has to get Kyle Pitts involved. This dude is legitimately good at football, and he is not being included in the game plan at the level that he needs to be. Kyle Pitts, I believe, will have an uptick. Sit on Kyle Pitts. If you can move on Harris, I would move on Harris. If you can get someone to buy him at even RB2 value, I would feel fine to just be done with the headache. This whole offense looks bad. They've made the switch to Kenny Pickett, who I think is going to be a huge uplift for that Steelers offense, but they've got question marks. I don't know how good it's going to make Najee Harris all of a sudden. And Warren's looking nice, and that's the concern you also have. Like last year, even with Najee Harris's not awesome efficiency, you weren't concerned by any of the other options in Pittsburgh. I am concerned about Warren eating into Najee Harris's production based purely on meritocracy. So if you can move Najee, I'd do it, but I would sit on Kyle Pitts. Don't trade him right now. His value is as low as it's going to be, and I think there's a real path for him to go on the up. I think Arthur Smith's job might depend on it. Does remind me of Trey, right? Like crazy talented, #1 running back selected out of that class, great college career, shown some bruising ability at the next level, but maybe doesn't have all the tools to have a long career. Could Ron Rivera even DB saying? What do you guys think of Ron Rivera saying the problem the Washington Commanders have had relative to the rest of their division was quarterback? My jaw literally hit the ground. Well, not literally hit the ground, but it did. I was a little aghast. So you're saying this in a division that has Daniel Jones? Like, yeah, he's been consistently there, but you're saying that's a good thing? And then the Cowboys, Cooper Rush is chucking the ball right now. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I thought it was an errant comment. I thought it was a disrespectful comment to his own quarterback, but just completely off base. I think the problem in Washington is the culture and the coaching. What do you guys think? Third and 5. We're in the second quarter. Carson Wentz in shotgun formation. Oh my, whoa. What was that play? That line broke down in such a strange fashion. Wentz was able to avoid that tackle, but still went down. The two linemen for Washington both tried to arm block Smith, the linebacker for the Bears, and he just blew past that like a New York turnstile. They're going to be punting. Boom. No surprise. Chicago stopped just past the 30. Jones Jr. with the punt return. Get to see Justin Fields back in action. Ethan Johnson, man, I picked him up. I picked him up in the listener league. I picked him up second round in the listener league. It's a 16-team league, and I picked him up in the second round. So he was like 60. He was the 18th pick. I picked up Najee Harris as the 18th pick in our listener league, and I was like, this is such a bargain. I can't say no, and I didn't. And maybe I should have. I do have Warren in that league though too. Thanks, Travis. Easy Daddy, good win last week if you're listening. And shout out to the Whisper Nation folks who recommended starting Mike Boone ahead of Isaiah Pacheco. I didn't listen to you, and I made the mistake, and I suffered the consequences. And there goes Khalil on a huge run. That's what they should be doing. I'm glad to actually see Khalil Herbert getting that much action. I'm gonna eat some fish. Got in the 4th round for Pitts. It's not a bad spot. I mean, where he was going. In our league of record, he went into the 3rd round. What is going on with this play right now? Jesus. Right, Freak Stomper? That Khalil Herbert run, though, was nice. That was cool. I think it destroyed my parlay, but still cool run. Too many men on the field penalty. Washington just straight up had too many dudes out there. First and goal now, half the distance. Let's see what we got here. Ball handed. I think that's Montgomery. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Nada. What are you working with? 8-man league. Jalen Hurts, Lenny Fournette, Austin Eckler, Mike Evans, Hollywood, and Njoku Lockett. All right. It's an 8-person league, so it's going to be tough to get positional players. Love Jalen Hurts. Lenny. Eckler looking so good. It's going to be tough in an 8-person league to deal with Najee. Oh, my gosh. They missed that wide open touchdown. Come on, you guys. Chicago. Justin Fields looking slick and comfortable with the fake handoffs. That was nice, but then Griffin with that nice separation is not rewarded, overthrown. God damn. Might have been able to speed it up or dive for it a little bit, but Chicago, you got to make that connection there. See if they can get it here on 3rd. Justin Fields in the pocket. He's trying to run. Stop short. His head got hit a couple times. On the 1. It'll be 4th and goal. Let's see what they decide to do. I got Pitts in the bench for me too. I got Njoku in our league of record as well. I'm happy with that though. I love it. I think Njoku was looking like a really strong week in, week out play. And Pitts, if that offense gets right and justice is served, Kyle is going to be probably the number of 3 or 4 tight end, just like we thought. And that's behind Andrews and Kelsey. I mean, Kittle Kittle's day in public court has not yet been had yet, because we've had a couple of healthy games out of Kittle, and we have not had any impressive games thus far from a fantasy perspective. I'm a huge George Kittle fan. I had him as one of my dudes in the draft, so we need to see it, but still hasn't happened yet for Mr. George Kittle. Kyle Pitts' lack of attendance is well documented, though. Don't trade Kyle Pitts, though. You're not going to get anything for him, and he could end up smashing still. I want to see that live bet slip of mine if I really did get it blown up. Yeah, we did get it blown up. Khalil Herbert said F you with that run. He's got 64 rushing and receiving yards, so we're done there. That one is over. I don't think I was going to be getting any action on this one here, too. Let me bring this up for you guys. Yeah, this was definitely the more optimistic. Lower Brian Robinson. We'll see, Scott. I don't know, but I'm feeling all right about that. Simply because he's been involved, but he hasn't been efficient. This team's not very good, and I don't know how good Brian Robinson is, TBD. J.D. McKissick, I'm surprised he hasn't gotten a single pass attempt yet. They've been in some third down situations. We'll see. Under 217 total yards. It's actually moving the ball okay. And Khalil Herbert, though. So this is done. We lost. We lost there. We'll take a look at our other action, though. Cole Kmet cut this in half. I'm still feeling fine about this. That might be his only catch of the day. Receptions. We got the one ticker on J.D. McKissick. Okay. Rushing yards. Our handicap is holding true with Curtis Samuel. And the passing yards, we're donging on this one. I'll take it. 48.5 point bump for Justin Fields. I like Carson Wentz. His passing yards over Justin Fields. I couldn't get away from this near 50 point bump. So we'll see. We'll see if we can make some more money back. And then a little bit. Ronald coming in saying time for a safety. Was that on fourth down before that they didn't get? Devin asking, should I give up Kyler, Mixon, and Gabe Davis for Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Melvin Gordon full point PPR? Before I answer this, I want to see this play. Was that on fourth down, or was that bringing up fourth down? Khalil Herbert at the goal line. Oh, that was on fourth down. Shit. Time for a safety, says Ronald. Okay. I got to watch this one here. I'm going to get to your question, Devin. Oh, man, that is real tight. I assume that was Brian Robinson. Getting maybe the length of a hot dog bun. Justin Fields working on his meditative breaths, tapping into his call map. 3 big breaths. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can smell, 2 things you can touch, 1 thing you can taste. How you doing, Justin Fields? All right, Devin. Should I give up Kyler, Joe Mixon, and Gabe Davis for Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Gordon, full point PPR? All right, so you get an upgrade at Brian Robinson with a couple yards, but that's about it. So you get an upgrade at quarterback. That's good. You get a major downgrade at running back. I don't like that. And you get a major uptick, though, at I'm calling it a major. I think I probably should pause. And Gabe Davis, I mean, he just had 170-something yards and a couple touchdowns, but it was, again, only on 3 catches, and he hasn't had more than 4 catches all season long, and they're not trying to get him a lot of catches. He's not that guy for them. He's their big player. So I like your uptick that you get at quarterback and receiver. I think Joe Mixon is an excellent buy low person right now. He's like leading the league in running back usage rate. He hasn't gotten any touchdowns. Cincinnati looks lost. I think they are good enough to overcome Zach Taylor, who I don't think is a sharp. I think he's a bit of a fake sharp. I could be proven wrong on that, and I hope I am, because I like the Cincinnati Bengals and what they're doing. But The Super Bowl might have been a little bit of a fluke. Let's pretend like it's not. Let's pretend this is a competent organization. Their woes will improve. Joe Mixon should continue to be fed, but with greater efficiency, more touchdowns. Even if that does or doesn't happen. I mean, Gordon is the guy. How's Gordon's practice reps been? I haven't heard any new concerning news, but that neck of his, I mean, a neck injury. He's got a rib injury. He was practicing today in limited fashion. Melvin Gordon III was limited in the Broncos' first practice of the week as he continues to tend to injuries to both his ribs, his neck, his back, and his crack. Gordon has been put in an increased role with Javonte Williams suffering that season-ending injury. I think Melvin Gordon is a bit of a trapdoor, though. I had heard rumors about them planning to cut him before the Javonte Williams injury. I think the spirit is down in Denver. So let's see here. Devin, you're saying, I like Mixon a lot, but I think the Hurts and A.J. Brown stack will be very good. I agree. I agree with you here. I'm not big on Kyler. If you can find any way to not give up Mixon on this and Gordon, I would try to do that. Hurts is really nice, though. And A.J. Brown, I think, is in a good buy low situation himself. I don't hate it. If you like this, if you're looking to move on, you want some of this stale mojo out of your life and to bring in something new that's got some possible upswings, I say go for it, but be careful with Melvin Gordon and your expectations surrounding him. I'll just say straight up too, I made a couple of deals in our leagues of record, and sometimes it's worth it for the dopamine hit, just to have the excitement infused to keep you hungry, moving, looking, active. You know, if you just stay active, that can be enough of motivation to dig the waiver wire hard next week, find a gem, look ahead at the tea leaves, things like that. So if you're feeling this, man, go for it. You also got JT and Ramondre and Connor. You're not terrible at running back. This is true. Not super solid, though, either. I don't like James Conner rest of season. And Ramondre is looking nice. But Damian Harris might not be as hurt as we thought. And it is the Bill Belichick-led Patriots, which means Jonah Gray could show up any week. Like, I went in leagues and picked up Pierre Strong. I think he's kind of a sneaky ad. Everyone's like, oh, Devin, Damian Harris is gone, and Ty Montgomery's on the IR. It's going to be all Ramondre. Like, it might not be. They grab guys out of anywhere and just throw them in and do weird stuff. So you are solid. You're good, especially this week, like JT and Ramondre. Well, actually, I mean, JT's hurt. So you got some question marks at running back too, my guy, because Jonathan Taylor's hurt. Ramondre's looking nice this week, but rest of season, I'm not sold yet. And I've got him in my dynasty league. I love Ramondre. I think he's awesome, but it's not a lock. Ronald's saying Denver always uses two backs. They aren't going to stop now that they have worse running backs. I think you're probably right. That's what Nathaniel Hackett looks like he wants to do. I mean, he just came from Green Bay, and in his tenure, A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones were both involved pretty regularly. I think that would then encourage him to keep that pathway going. And it's not like they have a guy anyways, so probably. Ronald, you don't think that Jalen Hurts rest of season is a major upgrade over Kyler? I guess I'm just so down. I'm a Cardinals fan. I'm originally from Arizona. They've followed this team super close, and I think that the bad triangle there of Steve Keim, Cliff Kingsbury, and Kyler Murray is a different kind of devil's triangle than the one Brett Kavanaugh was talking about. And I just don't think that it's going to net a lot of production for the Cardinals or your fantasy team. And I am scared. Second half of Kyler Murray's seasons have typically been bad. I know he gets Hopkins back, but I think he loses a lot of his motivation. And I think the spirit in Arizona is lower than it's ever been at this point. So I'm just not feeling the Arizona Cardinals overall. And I think Kyler Murray is, I get the logic saying he's a buy low, and I really want it to be the case. I'm not going after Kyler Murray in leagues, and I'm in some leagues where my best quarterback is Aaron Rodgers, and I'm still not going after Kyler right now. That might be my mistake, but we'll see. Got some more questions in here. What's up, Whisper Nation? Jair's, Ethan Johnston, Kenson. Thanks, everybody, for joining in. If you like what you're listening to here, would encourage you to go ahead and do me a favor on this one. If you like what you're hearing, hit a thumbs up on this one. It allows us to connect with more people who love fantasy football, and there's like literally nothing more on life I love to do than talk about this game with other people who love it. Darnell Mooney with a nice snag. Here we go, Darnell. So let's see here. We got some questions. This isn't a question, but a funny comment. $13 billion for 2 seasons of these Amazon Prime games. They schedule straight garb. Yeah, it hasn't been awesome, my guy. What are your thoughts on Drake London as well? He's probably my worst bench player. I think Drake London is nice. I think he's one of the top 3 rookies. I think Arthur Smith, though, is playing with fire from some of the question marks he's made. Who was it? Was it PJ Walker, the fill-in quarterback for Carolina right now? Fill-in, maybe should be more than that. But he said, all I'm going to do is get it to my playmakers. That's what I know how to do. It's like Arthur Smith with the Falcons doesn't believe in that. And Drake London and Kyle Pitts, to me, should be like force-fed all the time. They're not. And Drake London has been a little bit down. So I can't trust Drake London because I can't trust the Falcons. That's my thoughts. What's up, Kenson? Fournette, Michael Thomas, Drake London, and Brian Robinson for CD and Jonathan Taylor. Who wins this trade? I'm receiving Taylor and CD. You win this trade, Kenson. You win this trade. We don't need the photo finish. I can see it with my eyes. Winner, Kenson Paris. You get the best player in this trade in Jonathan Taylor. You get the second best player in this trade in CD Lamb. It's close. Leonard Fournette is pretty nice. And if he stays healthy, he's going to continue to do great things for the Buccaneers. But CeeDee Lamb is really freaking talented. And he doesn't have a lot of other competition. Cooper Rush, Dak Prescott. I don't give a shit. I like CeeDee Lamb out there. So you're arguably getting the top 2 players in this deal. The only guy that I would... Honestly, man, Brian Robinson, I would try to sell that motherfucker for anything you can get. I don't want shit to do with this Washington backfield. I think people thinking they're finding some value are playing mind games and not looking at what it actually takes to be relevant in fantasy football. Like, it's looking at your sneakers in a display case. It's like, that's not what it's about. So I think Brian Robinson is somebody who shouldn't be started. Drake London, like I just said, I can't trust Drake London because I can't trust the Falcons. His talent is undeniable. So is it with this Kyle Pitts? Can't trust the coaching. Can't trust the team. Michael Thomas, I can't trust what he's going to decide to do. And then Fournette, he's nice, but he's got question marks too. He's got some injury risk associated. Yeah, man, I'm not in love. I love what you're getting here, CD and Jonathan Taylor. Do it. And you got Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, and Ken Walker. Yeah, dude. Go with it. Clear out your bench. Get rid of this fluff. Bring in some heavies. Yeah, go for it, Kenson. Great situation you find yourself in. I'm jealous. That's fun. Ronald knows. JT and CD by so much. And this is a great point, too. This is a good one for everybody to listen up on. You get 2 roster spots, Kenson. Bring back up Kenson's trade. Look at how many players he's giving away. Fournette, Michael Thomas, Drake London, and Brian Robinson. He's giving away 4 dudes, and he's picking up just 2. That means he's got 2 roster spots now open on his team. That's a thing. Like, an empty roster spot is value. Not only is it value to, pick up some guys that you've been curious on, maybe they have a good week. You can do fun things. You can start to play fantasy games with it. And what I mean by it is pick up the handcuff in the earliest game possible and watch that game right up until the next set of games. And if that handcuff you picked up stays a handcuff because the running back ahead of him made it all the way through the game with full health and we didn't see anything weird, then you drop that handcuff and you pick up the next handcuff. Guys get hurt all the time. Like, for instance, if Kenneth Walker was on your waiver wire and you were playing this game and you're like, wow, look, Kenneth Walker's on the waiver wire. Rashad Penny is balling right now. Kenneth Walker hasn't gotten you more than a couple of points. But if something happened to Rashad Penny, oh boy, is Kenneth Walker going to be a snag. Number 1 waiver wire pickup next week, hands down. So you think about it like that. And then if you did pick up Kenneth Walker, what happened? Rashad Penny suffered an injury. He's down. He's done for the season. And you would have you didn't have to spend any of your WAP just to pick up that player. So these kinds of things happen all the time. We're watching the Bears game right now. When David Montgomery went down a few weeks ago, Khalil Herbert stepped in and balled out. And in most redraft leagues, Khalil Herbert was probably available. So that's one of the benefits that you get from picking up empty roster spots when you trade away guys and you get fewer in return. So Ronald is totally right when he says those 2 empty roster spots are nice additions. Absolutely. That's always good. Great question. 6 minutes left here in the second quarter for the Durs versus Bears. Play action. Ball's thrown to, is that Terry? Scary Terry looked fast. Actually, yeah, that was Terry McLaurin. That was like the fastest I've ever seen Terry McLaurin move. Wow. It's nice. This isn't a 14-teamer, Kenson? Wow, even better. All right. Quarterback Derek Carr, Dak Prescott, Debo, CD, Romeo Doubs, George Pickens, Tunyon, Daniel Parson, defense Packers. Who should I trade away and for what? If you can get somebody to buy hype on Dak Prescott when he comes back, I would try to do that. Not sold on how good Dak Prescott's going to be. And if you get somebody who's remembering how good he was a couple of years ago before he got that ankle injury, do it. I would look for some upgrades. You can upgrade yourself a tight end, but you don't need to. Like, unless you're getting Andrews or Kelsey, you just play the waiver wire, even in a 14-teamer. Maybe like go try to do a buy low on Kyle Pitts. If your Kyle Pitts manager is like ready to move on, that could be a nice hold for you there. I'd be comfortable trading, honestly, any of these guys if you can get the right value for them. I think CD's on an uptick. I think Debo's going to keep being nice. I like Romeo Doubs. If you can get any inflated value, like if you need to get an elite player for Debo in return. Slightly below that for CD for me. Romeo Doubs, I would need a very solid RB or wide receiver 2. And George Pickens, I would need somebody with even more ceiling than George Pickens. If you could do that, do it. But in a 14-teamer, I know it's a little bit more thin. What up, Vals? Thanks for coming in. Zeke and Bateman for Josh Jacobs. Yeah, if you can do that, I'd like to be the one with Josh Jacobs on my team at the end of the day. I think every person in the fantasy football industry if they were fading Josh Jacobs, I bet they have a new take on him now. He looks legit. He looks like he's the RB1 for Las Vegas. He looks like they're involving him in the passing game. They look like they're involving him on the goal line. Zamir White, Kenyon Drake, none of these guys are legitimate concerns to usurp any opportunity. Zeke is looking less efficient. Bateman had a great start to the year, but I said this a few weeks ago, like, who is Rashad Bateman? He's a guy getting 65% snap percentage on a team that has their number 1 in Mark Andrews and is a run-based team. So yeah, I love this deal that you could get for Josh Jacobs. I would do this so fast. Working down through the questions here after the Bears got the punt after another punt. Yay. Kenson, running backs, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Kenneth Walker. That is nice in any league you're in. 8-person league. I'm feeling good about this one. Right, Ethan? Looks really good for a 14-teamer. Gabe and Zeke for Waddle and Kareem Hunt. Ooh. Gabe and Zeke for Waddle and Kareem Hunt. I think this side of the deal wins. I think whoever gets Waddle and Kareem Hunt wins. I think the upside for Waddle is just as high as Gabe Davis is, but his floor is higher. And Zeke does kind of concern me. Kareem Hunt is getting less work. Chubb is getting more. Pressure on Kareem Hunt. Yeah, look, Kareem Hunt's gotten double-digit rushing attempts every single game. 11 carries last week for 47 yards. He's number 19 RB in standard, number 17 in PPR. Yeah, Vals, I would like to be on the side acquiring Waddle and Kareem Hunt on this one. Working down. Kenson drafted Walker and held. Just sold off Fournette because the guy was a Bucs fan and was willing to give up Taylor. Fuck yeah, there we go. Devin, should I try to get Jeff Wilson over Gordon? Great question. Jeff Wilson looks nice. Anyone have an update on Elijah Mitchell, though? Like, we've kind of forgotten about Elijah Mitchell on the IR. The last update I'm seeing is from a month ago when they placed him on the IR. I haven't heard anything yet about Elijah Mitchell, but there's a world where Jeff Wilson becomes, 5 carries a game with Elijah Mitchell rocking and rolling. I kind of like Jeff Wilson, though, over Melvin Gordon because of the health, because of the trajectory of the team. It's murky for sure. Melvin Gordon has got more. If you're asking me who's going to score more points week 12, like all the logic right now would be pointing to this guy, to Melvin Gordon. But I think that he could get flipped by Boone. I think that Elijah Mitchell has shown a lot of propensity to become injured and stay injured. Jeff Wilson's looking pretty good. It feels like not good to say, but I think I want Jeff Wilson over Melvin Gordon. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I think I'll trade for a quarterback when Dak for Deshaun Watson straight up makes sense. Use Carr until Watson's back. I am notoriously not on Deshaun Watson hype. We saw him in the preseason. He went 1 for 5. He didn't look good. He's going to be dealing with a lot of mental demons now, and crowds in every away game, and maybe even some of the home games, trying to remind him of those demons. So I don't love locking myself in with Deshaun Watson because I'm not sold that a guy who hasn't played football in this long, who's coming in, is going to be a top 5 quarterback right away. With that said, his talent is undeniable. I think you're missing out on this one, man, because I think Dak and Watson have similar ceilings as it is. I think if the guy who's been sitting on Watson was able to get Dak for me, I think that guy wins. Ronald airing some similar concerns. Mitchell will come back. If anyone's got an update on Elijah Mitchell, I'd love to hear it. Another incomplete pass there on 3rd and 4. Bringing up 4th down. Bring out the punt unit. 2 minutes and 34 seconds left in this first half. More questions. Yeah. Val's asking about Najee and Gabe Davis for Jacobs and Waddle. I would want Jacobs and Waddle. I want Jacobs over Najee. I think I want Waddle over Gabe Davis. Jacobs and Waddle, I think that's the better player on both sides, for both positions. Yes. What up, Shotgun Bananas? Score prediction on the game. I mean, someone's got to score eventually, right? Technically, no, they don't. It could be 0-0. Someone will score. Someone will score. If I had to take a guess right now, I'm going to go with 6-10. Maybe 6-13. Well, no, I was saying two field goals, and then someone scores a touchdown, and Chelsea likes the idea of them missing the extra point. Yeah, that's a possibility too. Never mind, he said no. What about Zeke and Conklin for Moore and Njoku? Whoever gets. See, I think Elijah Moore is like you can stash Elijah Moore if you wanted to drop him. It's not a horrible call. I like Njoku, but I don't really like getting rid of Zeke for the best player in here is David Njoku. I don't love this one. I think Zeke holds more value than that. Out of my 4 running backs, who should I trade for Josh Allen? Your running backs. Got to hit me with... Okay, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Kenneth Walker. In order, I like... Where they're all at right now, I'd rank them in order of how they're going. Henry, Jacobs, Taylor, Kenneth Walker, but Jonathan Taylor should be the number 1 on there. He's just hurt right now. I'm going to have to see how he looks coming back. If you could trade Kenneth Walker for him, I would do that. Because again, it's like hype for substance. I think Ken Walker has got all of the reasons to suggest he's going to be substantial for your fantasy team and the Seattle Seahawks. But again, we haven't seen him get a full slate of opportunity. You got a 0-0 tie. I know it's possible. Maybe. Oh, Jair's. I'm guessing Mooney to score 7 targets in the first half. Ronald's point's true. You could also just not trade. Yeah, sit on it for a little while. You start Dubs or Pickett's in the flex? This is a great question. Who do we got? We got the Jets playing my Packers. Wonder who Sauce Gardner is going to be guarding. Sauce Gardner is guarding Dubs, which he might be should. I don't like Dubs as much. That dude looks like a Pro Bowler his rookie year. Pickens is fun. I almost want to play Pickens just for the sheer sex appeal of it. 8 targets last 2 games. Led the team in receiving. Going up against Tampa Bay. He's still not their number 1. Like, the number 1 corner should be covering Deontay Johnson. The safer play is Dubs. I think the more fun play is Pickens. If it's in my roster, I think I'm going Pickens. I'm comfortable coming out behind on that, though. Trying to make a move. Oh, if it's DJ Moore. I don't like DJ Moore either. I like him better than Elijah Moore. I like him better than Rondale Moore. But now I don't just straight up like DJ Moore right now. What up, Jackson Perlang? Poolrang. Would you trade Lenny and Tyreek for Mixon and Adams? Would I trade Lenny Fournette and Tyreek Hill for... Yeah, I do this. It's really close. It's like a straight push for both of them. Lenny and Mixon pretty close, but I like the health situation, generally speaking, more than Mixon. That doesn't mean shit, full disclosure, but I like Mixon on the uptick a little more. Lenny's had a hot start. Mixon, I think, has been a little bit unlucky. And Tyreek and Adams are both really close for me. Tyreek's a little bit banged up right now. Adams, I mean, he banged up that cameraman, but Adams looks motivated. He looks really good. He looks like the number 1 target on the team. I'd be fine with this deal. Agreeing with Ronald, it's fairly horizontal, but yeah, I'd do it. James Conner for Gabe Davis, stacked on running back position. I do that. I'm not feeling James Conner. I'm not feeling the Cardinals. I'm not feeling James Conner. I think Benjamin could come in. And if Benjamin comes in and does good stuff, like James Conner is going to get less and less work. James Conner was never supposed to be like a dude. He was the number 2 option behind Chase Edmonds last year. They picked James Conner up on a 1-year deal. He got like 16 touchdowns or whatever he did. And then they gave him a deal, but like he's still benefiting. His reputation is still benefiting off of the surge he had last year. And that was a surprise for the most part as well. Oh, Kenson. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Very much appreciated the advice. Got to go ahead and hit him with a whisper. Woo! There it is. Thank you very much. Daubs. Is it? Romeo Daubs? Not Romeo Dubs? Names are important to me. Appreciate that clarification. Let's see, we're back at this game. Minute 50. You got pass interference on the Bears. Going to get a first set of downs now for the Durs. See if we can get any points on the board before half. Oh yeah, Curtis Samuel just got. That's a little too fresh. Keep some room there for the Holy Spirit. All right, not in Bear territory yet on the 45 for Washington. Shotgun formation. Wentz looks his first read, second read, goes Wow. Off the hands. He's got to pop his finger. His fingers are stuck. What's he got in that bag? His hand jammed a little bit. Oh, anybody who's played sports knows that feeling. You hit your hand on another object. His fingers are feeling funky. Taubes. Would Jonathan Taylor for Justin Jefferson make sense? Yeah, it's not bad. Both of them are pretty much doing what we thought they'd be doing, but Jonathan Taylor is hurt. I like Justin Jefferson. I'll say this. Here's one of the concerns. I don't think this is really going to come through fruition, but if the team sucks like the Colts kind of look like they might, you all of a sudden start slowing it down, and you might see Jonathan Taylor end up making a business decision, and that's taking some extra snaps, maybe some games off to preserve his body. I think it's a bad call when they do that. It doesn't happen that often, but sometimes it does, and you can understand the logic behind that. Justin Jefferson is still going on pace. Like, he wants to be known as the number one wide receiver in the league. Adam Thielen wants him to be the number one wide receiver. Kirk Cousins wants him to be the number one wide receiver. Justin Jefferson kind of wants that title himself, I believe. So he's going to be pushing. There's more enthusiasm for it. Normally, I would say like no, but given where we've seen already these two teams, wow, that was almost a touchdown. That is going to just be an incomplete pass to Curtis Samuel. So yeah, I think it makes sense. Cooper Kupp as well, for sure. I'd keep JT too. Just asking though if it makes sense. Like, I think it makes sense if you want to do that. I'm not going to besmirch you or have any sly remarks if you made that swap. Damn, Curtis, you got to catch that, bro. It's a little overthrown, but not so much. Could have been a real gift for the squad. 2nd and 10 on the 40. Nice run here by Mckissick. This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm nervous about all of the backfield members for Washington. Like, J.D. McKissick is still good. Antonio Gibson is good. Brian Robinson, though, has the love of his coach. Best one of the day coming out of the scat back. J.D. McKissick brings up a first down, minute 10. He gave him the rock again. Gets 4 or 5 yards. Look good. Needed him to catch that, says Jay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Gonna be 2nd and 6. Washington takes a timeout, getting themselves in a position so far. Robinson so far. So far what? Oh, not good at all. Yeah. Lady V thinking a touchdown's coming at the end of this drive. She's calling it. But she's calling they might get one. I think they might too. I don't think they will. I think they'd be happy with 3 points too. Second and 6, just outside the red zone. They'll have to be squarely on the 20. Samuel in motion. You got some wide receiver point at the end zone. Oh my goodness, Curtis Samuel. Dude. Or are they going to make a joke out of it? They might. So far, tension's increasing. Only makes the punchline better. Kenson saying, I just know I can't play all 4 backs, and if I could trade for another starting asset, either quarterback, tight end, or wide receiver, they don't have to have a guy in the bench putting up insane points. Dude, it's week 5, though. I hear you, but I am going to remind everybody that this is a game of attrition. Attrition. Like, I have built the perfect starting lineup before, and you get one guy who goes down, and then you're looking for that depth. And you also want to be able to put in players in prime matchups, if you got like a 1A and a 1B, but the 1A is going up against a real tough defense that's going to focus in on that 1A, and then you got a 1B who's going up against a mediocre defense that's got a distracted defense. Like, you want that 1B in there. So I know it stings, Kenson, having a guy on your bench go off. Rewire your pain and reward receptors. Enjoy having such a deep-ass bench. Join the Sunday live lineup show that Fantasy Whispers host every Sunday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. Bring your questions to us. Ask us who you should start at running back or wide receiver or whatever. We'll give you our honest takes. Hopefully we're right. And then you can just keep having optimized lineups with that depth. God forbid, should anything happen to one of your studs. It's probably going to happen. It's just how the game goes. Yeah, until bye weeks and injuries. Exactly. Bye weeks are on the way too. Like, we've only had a couple of them, not a lot last week, but they're going to start coming in some chunks. And sometimes you're in that lineup where you get a bye-mageddon for your squad. So sit tight. Let's get an update on here on our bet slips. We already lost this one. Still feeling good about the lower there. That's so weird to me that J.D. Mckissick, no targets, no receptions here in the first half. Lower on this, looks good there. This one, he just blew this one out. Here's one where he might be able to win. So I said it before, he got that catch early in the game. Still not concerned, though. I don't know if he's going to get another one. He can get a couple more, just not another 15er. Oh, no. See, J.D. Mckissick, I need you to get that fucking catch. Terry McLaurin is on with it. No. Rushing yards, Brian Robinson with 19, but he's not able to overcome the 43.5 point bump they give him, and then the passing yards. Yep, feeling good about this one. So if we could just get J.D. Mckissick to get a little bit more passing-wise, we'll be good. We'll be good, but we need a little bit more to happen. Let's go, Carson. Let's go, J.D. Please. We'll see. It's always fun. Be a lot more fun if these teams started scoring some points. Let's go, teams. Get my people out there some fantasy action. What is it, 73-0 score they're showing from back in the day? Damn. Wait. So kick that field goal. Looks like they did make a joke out of it, Lady B. No touchdowns for them. They did get 3 points, though. So we no longer have a shutout. 46 seconds on the clock. Ball is being kicked off. Bears are back to return. They're just going to let it go out of the end zone. Smart move. That was a great run by Khalil Herbert. 58 yards over expected on that 64-yard run. Career high. That was a great play. He'll be starting at least here on the bench. It means they've got David Montgomery in, number 32. Motioned out wide. Justin Fields in shotgun position with no backs. He's going to throw. Scrambling. They're coming after him. He's looking to run now. He gets right back to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be second down and 10. Clock stops. 37 seconds to go. My favorite team is the Packers. Green Bay Packers. Cheesehead. My dad was hawking games at Lambeau Field when Vince Lombardi was the coach. And I'm from Arizona originally, so the Cardinals are my number 2. Zeke for Waddle straight up. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's see. So Ezekiel Elliott 8 points, 8.5 points, 10 points, 15 points, 6 points last few weeks. 22 carries against the Rams. That's pretty nice. You take a look at Tony Pollard. Pollard had 13 carries week 3. He hasn't gotten double digits since then. That might be a mistake, but that's what they're doing. Nobody's running away with the pass catching work, halfback wise, out of the Dallas backfield. So Zeke is still holding on. Like, Zeke isn't looking awesome, but Zeke has value. Zeke is like an RB3 to me. Waddle has not looked himself since he's been hurt. And they also got question marks at quarterback. If you're sitting pretty at running back, Vals, excuse me, I don't remember who else you got, but if you're sitting pretty at running back, I would consider this. But otherwise, I would want to hold on to the running back because they're really hard to come by. And I would try to find my upside at wide receiver elsewhere. We're on a good point here. Zeke is good for 15 touches and the goal line work. Presume that keeps going too. So it'd be nice. Waddle certainly had a buy low opportunity right now, but like, we'll see how long Teddy's out. He'll probably be back in a couple of weeks. I think Waddle will be more healthy then as well. Zeke is probably going to hold on to that role. Maybe this will be the last year he does, but I think he does. If you're super strong at running back, though, like if Zeke's on the bench for you, I have no problem buying Waddle right now because good luck buying him if he goes off next week. Chicago trying to even up the score here or even get ahead of it with 18 seconds left. They're in shotgun formation. They're going for a play. They're not kneeling down. That ball's in the dirt. So is Justin Fields. Oh, God, is he okay? He's looking a little lifeless there for a moment. Okay, it looks like he might have just taken a hit, had the wind knocked out of him. It doesn't look like he actually got knocked out or anything. His head didn't look like it hit hard or anything, so we'll see. But he himself got carried a little. Sorry, Justin. He says you're selling Zeke low, but how high is he going to get, dude? Like, if you're sitting here telling, he's getting 22 carries last week. He had 78 yards with him. He had 19 carries the week before. He had 49 yards with him. 15 carries, 73 yards. 15 carries, 53 yards. He's averaging 3.77 yards per carry. That's a career low. He's not heavily involved in the pass catching work. Do we think that Zeke is going to suddenly become way more involved in the pass catching work instead of Tony Pollard? Ethan saying just started following the NFL this year, chose to follow the Raiders and not hop on the bandwagon too much with any nasty teams. What do you think about the future of the Raiders? I think you're in for a long fanhood, and I don't mean that in a good way. Like, there's a lot of exciting things. I think it's a really rich in the sense of a culture that Oakland, now Las Vegas, has. I love what they're about. They've got history. They're kind of funky. They're edgy. You know, they got some neat players, but the Davis family just does not. Oh, going for it. Big Hail Mary. Somebody caught that, but then they let it go. It's on the ground. Okay. Incomplete pass down out of the game. I think the Raiders are really cool, to be honest. I just don't think Derek quarterback is that dude for them. He's good enough to keep around, but I think they would rather have a quarterback who's a level above. But I don't know if they're ever going to get that opportunity. I like him. Josh McDaniel he's not doing it for me. Like, I'm not sold that he is the next great head coach. I think they're okay. I think there's a lot of fun culture to lean into. I think there's a lot of fun history to lean into. I'm benching Zeke for Eno. Okay. Yeah. If James Conner too, looks like he's going to be out. So I don't have a problem with that. You are selling him lower than draft capital because of performance, but I don't think he's worth his draft capital. I chose them because they're the most badass looking team ever. I don't disagree. I love their Darth Vader, like weird Mad Max, like horror hero vibe they got going over there. It's cool. Well, that's it, Whisper Nation. Lady V, if he doesn't take a break, feels like he'll get hurt on this one. Yeah, he might, right? He's taking a lot of hits. It's been awesome chopping it up with you. It's been a lot of fun answering questions with you. We'll be answering more questions tomorrow on the live news and notes show. We're going to be getting that program started at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. And that'll be really fun, as well as Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time for the live lineup show ahead of the games. You should subscribe if you like what you're listening to and get those notifications. And if you've enjoyed this program, please consider hitting me with a thumbs up. Help us connect with more people who love fantasy football. On behalf of Johnny Game Time Hicks, Big Travie, Donnie, send their love. I'm Austin Sear with the Fantasy Whispers. We'll see you next time. We're out. Let me find this video here. We'll go with the Discord plug. We're out. See you later.
Right here.
Look at you go. You made it to the end of another one of our videos. Hey, if you still have some questions, I totally understand. Or you just want to join an awesome fantasy football community, head on over to our Discord chat. Link is in the description below. And if you're still not sold on us, check out one of these videos.